这是你知道的马布里，这是你听说过的马布里，这是你看到的马布里，和北京队登上 CBA 的总冠军领奖台。管他是褒贬不一，还是众说纷纭；管他是人生低谷，还是重获荣光。在这里，杨澜访谈录带你和马布里面对面，听他说说心里话。
大家好，欢迎收看杨澜访谈录。20年前有一部风靡全国的电视剧，叫《北京人在纽约》，讲述了一个北京人在美国追求梦想的故事。20年以后，一位纽约人也来到了北京。他就是被北京人亲切地称为老马的前 NBA 球员马布里。当北京人欢呼雀跃他带领北京队获得 CBA 联赛总冠军的时候，我们也想了解中国的经历对于他个人究竟意味着什么。
2012年3月30日，本赛季中国男子篮球职业联赛最后一场的总决赛在北京五棵松体育场开战。在上赛季排名第8的北京队对决7冠王广东队，最终结果令全场球迷为之狂热。北京队124比121分击败了广东队，夺得了队史上首个 CBA 总冠军。北京的球迷在为这场久违的胜利欢呼雀跃的同时，他们还一直在高呼着一个人的名字为 MVP 最有价值球员，他就是教练和队员心中的最佳外援马布里。
First of all, congratulations again for the championship.
Thank you.
That's a huge thing.
Thank you.
I know both for Beijing and for yourself.
Yes.
But first of all, describe to us the feelings for the last a minute and a half when you were sent off the court after the 6 fouls.
Well,
You were surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised because I didn't know that I had 5 fouls. When I was standing on the sideline, I was just like, oh my God, I cannot be out there with my teammates right now to help them. But I had a feeling that we were gonna be okay. I just didn't know how. This is the longest minute and a half of my life right now. And
You were not even looking at the mat.
because I couldn't believe that I wasn't on the court, and it was unfamiliar being on the sideline at that time. So normally I'm on the court trying to make a play for us to win, and then this time I was on the sideline watching. But I just was standing. I was on the sideline praying. I was like, oh my God, we gotta win this game. We have to. There's no way we can go back to Guangdong.
That was a very tight game, 121 to 121 when you were sent off the court. And very, very close towards the end. What if Beijing lost?
For myself, being in those moments and embracing those challenges are the best part of playing basketball. There's nothing better than that. And having the opportunity to have shared that with the magnitude of this country's size and all of the people who watched, it was like all of China basically geared up and started to follow us because we were basically taking down the juggernaut of China in basketball.
回顾马布里在美国职业篮球联赛的职业生涯，有过骄人的成绩。他和阿伦·艾弗森、科比·布莱恩特同为 NBA 96季黄金一代的代表人物。马布里当选过全明星，入选过梦之队，有着联盟单挑王和纽约之子的称号。但是在美职篮，他却从未登上过总冠军的领奖台。虽然 CBA 中职篮和美职篮这2个不同赛场上的总冠军在职业水准上尚有差异，但是对于35岁的马布里来说，经历了16年的赛场征战，辗转了8支球队和2块大陆后，这个胜利的到来对于他的意义已经超出了总冠军的奖杯本身。
How long have you missed that?
Man, the last time I felt that was when I was in Phoenix playing in the playoffs. I mean, the playoffs is that's what you play for during the regular season. You play to position yourself in the playoffs so you could try to win the championship.
Yeah. So that's a feeling that you have missed for so long.
Yes.
在美职篮的巅峰时期，马布里球技出众，被看作球队核心，拿着顶级的薪酬。但同时，有些人认为他打球风格太过独断和自我，认为富有和成名使他的内心开始膨胀。
Did you feel misunderstood when the Sports Illustrated back in 2009 when they had this survey of who would be the player they don't want to play with, and you were kind of on the top of the list?
I pay no mind to that. I laughed that human beings would go and take a poll for that. to me, it was like, oh, so you really want this is the light you wanna put out to the universe? Okay, cool. Go ahead, go do that. I mean.
But you want to prove
typical.
that they were wrong?
No, I didn't want to prove that they were wrong because I knew I was right. So it wasn't really proving them it was wrong. It was just shutting them up. You know, just basically saying, okay, you still saying that, you saying it, okay. I just know what I got to do. I got to go do something to make you stop talking. I was tired of being what they called me, Lonely Wolf. I hated that name. I hate that name.
Lonely Wolf.
I hate it. But, you know, it was okay because I knew I wasn't that player or that person. So it didn't really bother me. I just didn't like that people would ask me about it and say that, you know, your name is Lonely Wolf. I'm like, yeah, I heard that.
Because that's not what you are.
No, that's not who I am. That's not how I play basketball. I was being defined by playing in situations in the NBA.
2007年，当马布里所在的尼克斯队与劲敌太阳城队进行冲击季后赛的关键一战中，他的父亲在看台上突发心脏病被送往医院，教练托马斯却隐瞒了这一情况，直至比赛结束。当马布里赶到医院时，他的父亲已经过世。此后，马布里便与教练交恶，并不断违反队规。而在纽约媒体的笔下，马布里被看作是反面的典型，球队中的毒瘤。
I noticed that you were kneeling down and praying before your team players lifted you up. What were you praying for?
I was just thanking God for giving me the opportunity to be able to rise again at a level where so many people doubted me, so many people put me in a category, whereas I never categorized myself and put myself in a position where I thought.
What kind of category?
That I couldn't win, that I couldn't win a championship, that I couldn't lead a team, so many different things. But, you know, what I've learned throughout the championship run is, one, you can't never listen to what other people say and the doings that take place as far as a collaboration of a group of people. Because whenever there's a group, everyone has to be on the same page in anything that you're doing if you're trying to reach one common goal. And having the opportunity to play with a group of guys who all wanted to do one thing, I mean, and a coach that was like the spearhead of all of what was needed for us. Whenever you get the opportunity to be a part of that and you're able to lead the charge of that, you're basically in a position where you're governing something totally different, which is a movement. And the movement of us trying to win a championship, it took a lot. It took a lot of faith, it took a lot of belief, and everybody was on the same page in doing that. So when I think back of all of the critics in America, of what they said, you know, of why I came to China and what I'm doing in China, I mean, it's so typical of people who aren't even here speaking about something that they've never even seen. It's like you're talking about something and you don't even know what you're talking about. You're going off of past experiences from 5-6 years ago, which is kind of, to me, is nonsense, because now it's something brand new going on in the present, and you're still talking about what went on in the past to try to pull me down. So I was just giving thanks to God for allowing my mind to stay focused and stay intact to do what was just done. And I was so humbled and appreciative of my teammates' support of this whole season, because they knew what I wanted. They knew the goal. They knew that I was working towards that because they were able to see it every day.
Wow, so much was going on
Yeah.
at this one moment.
Yeah, a lot.
Right. But I could see that the whole family shared this, this joy and the rebirth
Yes,
of
exactly.
a person. But I would guess that you also wish to share that moment with your late father,
Yes.
if that's possible.
Yes, I wish I could have. But I believe
God's
that
hands.
I believe his spirit was right there with me, and losing my father took a really big toll on my life. You know, it was either gonna break me or it was gonna make me because of the love that we have for our father. And you know, during that time when he passed on doing what he loved to do, watching his kids play basketball. He was in the stands watching the game. These times where he would just be sitting back looking like, that's my baby, that's my boy.
What was the most important message that he instilled into yourself besides of winning in basketball? I know that he basically coached you all through your childhood and teenage years.
My father, he coached us in life. That my father, he really didn't teach us the game of basketball. My older brother more so did that. But my father, he taught us to never give if you know that you're right.
Never give up, you mean?
Never give up, but never give in to the fact of giving into to majority's thoughts. Basically, if I know I didn't do something, it doesn't matter if 1 billion people say I did it. If I know I didn't do it, I didn't do it, and I'm gonna say I didn't do it.
2009年2月底，在凯尔特人队的马布里被安排上场的时间越来越少，他跌到了人生最低谷，最终他结束了自己在美国职业篮球联赛的职业生涯。
Then at that point, I went through a whole depression time as far as like, was I gonna stop playing basketball? Something that I love, something that I've been doing since I was 2 years old. I already knew how
you
it
know
was.
how tough life can be, right?
Exactly, but it was kind of funny, amazing, and stupid, nonsense. It was a variety of different things and a lot of different emotions at different times. And during that time, as I grew in my faith and I started to understand I started to learn how people operated who aren't conscious. When you're making decisions and you're not conscious, and it's not in a positive light, it's only in a negative light. That's what's aggravating internally, not being able to internalize what's the next step, what's the next move. Staying patient, staying still.
离开美国来到中国，让马布里震惊的事情一件接一件。品美食，说相声，马布里难道不务正业？成为冠军并不重要，打倒冠军才是目的。队友觉得他很疯狂。稍后请继续收看杨澜专访马布里，纽约人在北京。
Does one have to travel 7,000 miles to find peace and love again in your heart?
That's what happened.
What were you thinking of? You know, when you were packing for a country called China,
I knew
which
nothing
you knew very little about.
It took me a month. I mean, it was brought to me about going playing China. It took me actually a month to leave. I had no idea about China. The only thing I knew was Yao Ming, the Great Wall, and there was a lot of people.
So were you gambling on this decision?
No, I wasn't gambling because it was, it was spoken about and it was talked about what the possibilities were. And actually, all of what's happening right now, these are the things that were talked about as far as what could happen.
But how did you convince your friends and families who persuaded you not going?
I mean, my brother, no one could see the vision of what I saw. When I first came here, it was a leap of faith. Totally, it was a leap of faith when I first came. When I said I was going back, that's when everybody was like, hold up. "You're going back to China?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going back to China." When I first got to China, the first 2 weeks, I wanted to kill myself. I was going crazy.
Why?
The culture, the food. I mean, it was just a variety of things that I wasn't used to. I was like,
But
oh my God.
Describe to me.
I mean,
I need more details.
I never seen a big fish come out on the table. I'm like, did they really just bring a big fish and put a fish right there? And everybody
And the fish was still blinking.
The chicken head, the whole chicken, I'm like, I never seen that before. Now it's normal. I just, it's just life. It's just normal for me to and I'm asking for certain things. I mean, I was living in Shanxi, so they told me that was probably the hardest place to live.
Yeah.
But the people were so amazing. I mean, when I first got there, they showed me so much love. I was like, man, this love is just incredible.
Hundreds of them were at the airport to receive you.
It was just like they just lifted me up and got me right back onto my life and on my way. The story is so crazy because when I was on the plane, I was depressed the whole time I was coming here. I was just like, I'm flying on the plane, I'm like, oh my God, this flight is so long. And I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? But I knew I was going to do something. Once I made the decision to come, that's when I knew that I was on my way. But I had no idea that it would turn out the way how it was turning out. I had no idea the love of the people. I had no idea of the culture. I had no idea of the 5,000 lineage that you guys share. I had no idea that the food, there's so many foods that are so delicious and so good. I had no idea that Chinese people could drink as much as they drink. I never knew that.
Baijiu.
Oh my God.
Oh, the liquor.
I had no idea about all of these different things. And as I continue to grow in the culture, I'm like, man, this is real life right here. I'm like, this is totally different from what I've been seeing.
2010年1月，他来到了中国，先后加盟了山西队、佛山队。2011年8月，面对着7冠王的广东队和年轻的北京队，马布里最终选择来到北京，因为对他来说，重要的不只是成为冠军，还有打败冠军。
Why? Why was it important for you? So it's not about being the champion, it's about beating the champion.
Oh, definitely. It's always about, now we're the team that people want to be.
That's
it's fun
right.
being that team. It's fun because you have to work. You have to make sure you come ready. Every game is going to be a fight. Every game is going to be a challenge. Whenever teams are going to always gear up and get ready for us.
Yeah. But back then?
When I went there, Beijing was the team that I wanted to play for. I was going to see what my options were and what my situation could turn out to be. When I came here and I told people that we were going to win the championship, everybody said that I was crazy. Everybody was like, you're nuts. You know who you got to play? I was like, yeah, I know who I got to play. I went to the finals to watch Guangdong play. I wanted to see what the CBA finals were about, and I wanted to see how they played. And when I watched, I studied them. You can't build an empire like in a day.
Of course.
It takes time. It takes planning, it takes building, it takes preparation. Being here and being a part of that, it reminds me and it takes me back home. And it allows me to have that same feeling, which is comfortable, which is like, man, the city. So happy to be home. Like when we'll be on the road and like, man, I can't wait to get back home. I was talking to my daughter and I was like, yeah, I'm about to go back home. She was like, what you mean you about to go back home? That's your apartment. Your home is here. I started laughing. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm about to go back to the apartment.
But she is actually speaking Chinese, right? She's learning to speak the language.
This is my younger daughter. My older daughter, she speaks Chinese now. She's singing in Chinese.
But you have to learn those words to exchange with your teammates at the game, right? What are some of the words that you would use more frequently than others?
To be honest, they understand me and I understand them. It's not really any specific words because we have a translator. So that's so important. Our translator, he's the best. Forget about just the translator. He's an unbelievable human being. having a really good translator is so vital in the CBA, for your foreign players, because the dialogue that's being exchanged, basketball-wise, it's easy, but when I'm trying to get them to understand something, they really have to like think about what I'm saying and then go do it. Like, don't do this, because if you do this, then this is gonna happen. And then like, okay, because it's going through somebody. It's not me telling them, it's going through him to going to the players. So once we built that connection, I could just talk, and they, on the court, I could just talk in English, and they'd be like, okay. Because it's normally the same things. When you're playing basketball, nothing really changes that much drastically. It's normally...
Sometimes it's just one look, I guess.
Yeah, it's like you could sometimes like, don't do that. Okay.
Your teammates certainly cherish what you have contributed to the team, your inspiration, your leadership, and you worked like the second coach for all the team. But then, what have they taught you? What have they brought to your life?
They've taught me the oneness of being together, a brotherhood. Those are my brothers. We're together. We've been together for 6 months. I'm with them more than I'm with my family.
Yeah.
They're with each other more than they're with their families.
和在中国的篮球赛场上的其他外援相比，马布里似乎更快地融入了这里的文化和生活方式。在训练场和赛场上，他不缺席训练，传授经验给年轻队员，成为队员眼中的第二教练。和之前很多被看作只为短期赚快钱的外援球员比起来，马布里成为人们眼中的最本土化的模范外援，因为他曾表示要执教中国男篮和愿意定居中国，故被球迷亲切地称为马政委。
But Beijing obviously is another metropolitan city that is more similar to the life of New York. What's the best part of the city that you love?
The energy. I mean, it's a square box. The energy is amazing. The people are amazing. Yeah. Having this opportunity and to share it with people who are just in amazement of something that just happened.
Yeah.
In their city, the tears from the people in the stands. When I watch the video, I just start crying. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, they really, just crying, pouring out tears. Yeah. People trying to hold back their tears. Like in amazement, covering their face. Yeah. Seeing that, I'm like, this is just amazing. It's so beautiful. Like, to witness it, to witness people feeling a certain way about something that we did as a group. We did something for the city. We made the city proud. We made the city happy. We made them feel like you made us one.
So it's not just about victory. It's not even just about proving yourself that you could do it. But it's also a sense of sharing with so many people, these connections with people, right?
Of course. Being able to share the connection and the love of the passion of what we put forth to do something for the fans it's incredible.
拿到总冠军，脸都笑抽筋，挣钱不重要，有爱是关键。马布里说：“听妈妈的话，学会做快乐的人。”稍后请继续收看杨澜专访马布里，纽约人在北京。
这里记录的是一个人和他的时代。
1946年，中国第一位原子物理女硕士王光美放弃去美国读博士的机会，离开北平，奔赴延安，第一次见到了刘少奇。此时，季羡林刚刚从德国回到北平，成为北京大学教授，继续潜心研究梵文和吐火罗文。1982年，季羡林回到母校济南一中参加校友聚会。不远处的济南二中，17岁的巩俐最大的心愿是能考上一所师范学校。 2006年，巩俐来到英国参加电影《迈阿密风云》的首映。不远处的克劳伦斯宫里，58岁的查尔斯正和卡米拉庆祝他们结婚1周年。此时，泳池里的菲尔普斯正备战北京奥运。在水立方，他一人夺得8枚金牌的传奇，将令世界为之惊叹。21世纪的第1个10年，杨澜访谈录走进这些历史风云人物，以独特视角为您讲述一个人和他的时代。获得 CBA 中职篮的总冠军之后，美国的媒体也改变了往日对马布里的态度。ESPN 娱乐与体育节目电视网、纽约时报、美国版体育画报都纷纷撰文，认为马布里在北京夺冠的瞬间是他人生目前最幸福的时刻。
Once I continued to clean my life out, and I started to gain that peace of life, and when I came to China, and my life began to change, and I started to feel different, and I started to move different. When I would go back home, people would be like, "I don't know, you're just different." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm different?"
How are you different?
Like you're just more calm. I've lost the emotion of feeling anything for something that's negative.
Isn't it like a miracle, like coming all the way to the other end of the earth to find yourself again? And this is like Odyssey, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Self-discovery.
It's so. When I think about it, I sit back sometimes and this last week has been the best time of my life other than when I had my children. I wake up, my friends, they like, you haven't stopped smiling yet. Yesterday I was smiling so much my cheeks was hurting. I was like, oh my God. I was embarrassed to myself. Like, man.
You deserve it.
Because I haven't felt like this. I never felt like this before. And to feel this feeling, it's amazing. I mean, I keep my medal hanging right on my light.
Yeah.
I mean, and I sleep on the edge of the bed. I banged my head against the medal. I was like, oh man. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay.
It's the heavy stuff, isn't it? What's about this contrast of $20 million and $700,000 that you're earning now?
It's not even about the money. My mother told me, she said, Stefan, you can have all the money in the world, but if you ain't happy, it means nothing. Money can't buy happiness. It can't buy happiness, it can't buy love. And the love that I've received from this country is beyond belief. I can't even explain it. I mean, I've never got the love that I've been getting.
2012年 CBA 的这场决赛注定是令人难忘的。对于全国的电视观众来说，这是一场高水平的对决；对于北京人来说，他们获得了梦寐以求的胜利；而对于马布里来说，这场比赛的含义似乎更为丰富。他重新找到了对篮球那种纯粹的热情，他焕发起了队友之间亲密无间的凝聚力，他也再次证明了自己的实力。不过更重要的是，他在这里找到了一种被爱的感觉。就像他的 T 恤衫上所写的那句话 ：“Love is love， 爱就是爱。”好，感谢你收看本期的杨澜访谈录，我们下周见。